The Paralympic Games is an event full of rich history. The Paralympic movement was started by Dr. Ludwig Guttmann in 1948 in Stoke Mandeville as a way for disabled veterans to rehabilitate after World War II. The first Paralympics, however, did not take place until 1960 in Rome, Italy, with 400 athletes from 23 different countries competing. The first full telecast of the Paralympics took place at the 1976 Paralympic Winter Games. Events were broadcast across Ontario, Canada to over 500,000 viewers. Now in 2012, the Paralympics is the second largest sporting event in the world, with 4,200 athletes competing from 165 countries in the most recent edition. Building on the success of London 2012, Britain is already looking toward expanding the Paralympic movement into different categories, such as the deaf and hard of hearing. Currently, deaf people participate in the Deaf Olympics, a separate event from the Paralympics. In order to qualify for the Paralympics, they need an additional physical disability. The Paralympics, however, are not the Paraplegic Olympics. Instead, they are parallel to the Able-Bodied Olympics. Not providing a separate category for deaf people contradicts this statement. As a result, the public views deaf people as drastically different from their physically or mildly learning disabled compatriots. In reality, deafness is just another different kind of disability. It should be included in the Paralympics to further educate the public on what is considered parallel to able-bodied sports. The US is not ready to partake in this issue as the Paralympics lack media coverage, with NBC only showing 4 60-minute highlight packages and no live coverage of the games. Britain's Channel 4, on the other hand, is offering 400 hours of live coverage. Worse yet, NBC makes the excuse that the games in London have to compete with other sporting events with devoted audiences. They are unwilling to expand the broadcast market as they do not want to lose money in the short term. Americans only care about the end result, making money. They do not care about the process it takes to become an elite athlete. Not only is the amount of Paralympic coverage important, but also the way the story is framed. In third world countries, disability sport is not covered as disability itself is viewed as a sin. Disability sport is growing in these countries because they were able to qualify without the help of wildcards. Politicians need to see the social and economic impacts of disabled athletes and recognize talent when they see it. Increasing Paralympic coverage is also good for business as it allows employers to see the potential talent in disabled citizens. Disabled citizens are not just employees who need to be put under strict supervision, but valuable members of society. Some disabled citizens may even do their job better than their able-bodied counterparts, such as the autistic as code crackers. America, on the other hand, has already closed the barrier between business and disability with the passage of the ADA. In order to increase Paralympic coverage, however, US media needs to stop glorifying Oscar Pistorius solely because he is the first double amputee to make it to the Olympics. Since the beginning of the modern games, disabled athletes have competed alongside able-bodied athletes. Notable participants include German-born US gymnast George Iser, who competed at the 1904 St. Louis Games on a wooden leg. He won 3 gold medals, 2 silver, and 1 bronze. In 1984, partially deaf swimmer Jeff Float competed for the US team in the 4x200 relay. According to Time magazine, the roar of the crowd was so loud during his lap that he heard them for the first time. These are just a few of the athletes who have made the transition from the Paralympics to the Olympics, besides Oscar Pistorius. Instead of covering one specific person extensively, US media should aim to educate citizens about the history of Paralympic athletes competing in the Olympics. After all disabled athletes want and need is to be judged on the same playing field as their able-bodied counterparts. Also, cultural attitudes need to change in order for the Paralympics to be covered more. The president cannot be joking about his poor bowling skills qualifying him for the Special Olympics. He is supposed to be a role model for citizens. Even though Britain is the world leader in disability sports coverage, the British Paralympic Association still needs to remind broadcasters not to use words such as wheelchair-bound or suffer from. As Paralympic coverage increases, people will not have to be reminded of what to say. It will become a habit. All in all, it is up to the individual to decide if they would like to view the Paralympics as equal to the Olympics. They need to ask themselves the question, do I one day want to be part of a society where sport is just sport, regardless of ability?